This is Making It. Stories of success and achievement, inspiration and survival. Hosted by Mark and Paul Kinney and sponsored by More Financial Strategies, helping you make it through life. And now, here's Mark and Paul.
On today's show, you know what? Hold on. Before we get into today's show and making it as an NFL ref, last week's show, have you had any phone calls with people asking you to be their bodyguard?
That is confidential information, Paul. I cannot go over that.
Oh, come on. Seriously?
Yeah, it's confidentiality. They had to sign a disclosure when they came in that I wouldn't talk about them. All 5 of them.
Yeah. Did they notice your physique?
Well, they did.
Yeah.
They were wondering what the barbells were in the office. And the weight, yeah.
New career for Mark. New career bodyguard. And that was a fun show last week with Bob Bond, bodyguard. This week, Rob Vernatchi, and he is an NFL referee. What a year to be an NFL ref.
Well, Rob and I go way back. How
long have you known Rob? Yeah, months. I've known Rob a while. But today's show is making it as a referee. And you know, like I said just a second ago, it's been a kind of a controversial year. That's a hard job.
It really is. It's not for the faint of heart.
No,
you got to know when to throw the flag and when not to kind of like Kenny Rogers.
Yeah,
you got to know when to
throw the flag and when not to throw the flag.
Yeah, there you go.
So we're going to jump right into it. We're going to talk to Rob Vernatchi. He's been an NFL referee for many years, and now he's a supervisor. But I don't want to spoil it. I'm going to let Rob talk.
So take us back, the listeners. How did you even get involved? Did you come out of the womb going, I want to be an NFL referee?
That's a great question. No, I did not. I played sports all through college. I played baseball in college, and my father was a high school principal here in Sacramento. He used to coach. A lot of his fellow teachers and friends were coaches. They also became officials back in the 60s and 70s. They did high school football here in Sacramento and community colleges also. So when I came out of school, like any other kid, not like a lot of kids, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I wanted to play pro baseball. That didn't happen, so it was time to go to work. And my father said, well, why don't you go ahead and, play a course, get a job, and why don't you try officiating? And I kind of, whatever. So I went out there and I joined the local high school association here in Sacramento, and I started officiating. And the first 5 or 6 years, I kind of just went through the motions.
How old were you?
I was 22. I was 22 when I started. And we used to call it alternate assignments. We used to go out and do the JV games, and we'd do them for free. And we'd have a veteran official stand with us in the field, and we'd learn the ropes that way. They also encouraged us back in those days to do youth football or Pop Warner, and I did a little bit of that. I gradually started working and realizing I was still involved in sports. And the thing that kind of got me was being involved in sports all those years and the team, camaraderie, whole scenario, that's what I missed by not playing. And this allowed me to stay involved in sports and to still have that camaraderie.
So there is that within the officiating.
Oh, huge.
It's a cult, Paul. Come on. It is a cult.
It's a cult.
Yeah.
How many of you are there?
Well, no.
Hold it. Stop. Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
From high school to what?
From high school to community college, Sacramento City College, American River College. And so I went ahead and I started doing community colleges in 1988. That's when I fell in love with it. It was a challenge. And from there, I took it from there. I started going down to Cal and Stanford during the spring.
You did Pac-12?
Well, let me go through. So it's a process. And so I went down and I applied to the Pac-12, Pac-10 in those days, and the Western Athletic Conference and the Big West Conference. I sent applications out to all these conferences. And I used to get invited to spring practice. And spring practice was fun. You go down and do their spring games. You were an applicant, and you had the current Pac-10 officials or Division I officials. They'd work with you, and it's a slow process. You would learn the ropes. But in the meantime, in the fall, I was still doing high school. I did high school till 1995, so I did approximately 13 years of high school. And I was doing community. And I was doing
13 years of high school?
Yeah, and I was doing community college in the meantime. But I enjoyed it. I had a group of friends. It was football.
Are you getting paid?
Yeah, we got paid.
Okay.
We weren't making a lot of money, but the money was incidental.
Yeah, you don't do it for the money.
And we didn't have dreams of getting in the NFL. It would have been nice to get in Division I conference.
But that wasn't really on your radar. You weren't thinking.
Well, I was hoping. Once I started doing college football, I thought, man, it'd be nice to get there. But in the meantime, let's start doing community colleges and enjoying it, and I did. So Mike Pereira took me under his wing, and I started helping him evaluate games for the Western Athletic Conference. He became the supervisor of officials then.
Is he the guy who's on TV right now?
He's the gentleman that's on TV with
Okay.
Fox. He's the old
Right,
vice
I
president
thought I
of officiating in the
recognized
National
the name.
Football League. So anyway, Mike took me under his wing, helped me immensely, taught me a ton of stuff. And then he left to go to New York, and he took the job, which I'm currently doing now, one of the supervisor jobs in 1997, I think it was 98. And then I got lucky, and then I finally got into the Western Athletic Conference. And in those days, 1998, the WAC. And so the WAC had 16 schools. It had 16 schools.
And they need a lot of...
Let's see, times 7.
Yeah, there's a few need for officials, right?
Okay,
so
okay.
So some say, well, they just needed you. You weren't any good. You got in anyway. So I got in. That was 1997, 98. Let me do my
How
math.
old were you?
I was 30. Well, 98.
he's
98.
35
So
right
I was
now,
39. I got in.
Is that young or old?
I was probably I was getting up there. I was lucky. My window was getting shorter and shorter.
Was it a who you know kind of a thing, or is it a combination of that?
I think there's always a cynical side. People say you got in because of somebody, and I believe that. Somebody always opens the door for
Right,
you.
but you have to,
And Mike opened the door for me. There's no doubt about it.
you have to check the boxes off.
You do. I have another gentleman named Jim Coyne here in Sacramento. I was in the Pac-10 also for many years, and Jim was a great influence on me also, along with a huge amount of other people.
Isn't that like all of life, though? We don't make it alone. There's always somebody along the way that helps us.
There's always somebody that's going to say, hey, let's give this kid a chance.
Right.
It's when you get in the front doors when you better take advantage of it.
And when did you get in the front door with the NFL?
I got in the NFL in 2004.
Just right now, I have such a greater appreciation for when I see a guy on TV making a call, because it's easy as armchair quarterbacks go, oh, that referee's a jerk. He doesn't know what he's doing. Oh, no, let's look back as to why he's even on the field.
Yeah, let's take the
Put
time.
this in perspective.
Put it in perspective, the time commitment. They love it. These are the greatest guys in the world, and I will say that unequivocally, that these are some of the best people I've ever been around in my life. And the thing about them is I just, whatever. I get the old whatever. Because it's like, unless you've really done it, you just don't know. The amount of time they put into it, the amount of sacrifices, and they do it, it's a choice. It's like anything else in our world, our life, it's a choice. And you don't have to do it. But if you want to do it, these guys are married, they have kids, they have jobs, and they all have lives other than football. But football is number one on Sunday.
It's a big part of their life.
part of it.
I was just thinking about this today. How many players in the NFL?
Well, there's 45 on a roster, times that by 30, whatever the math is. There's
Yeah, like
1,200.
1,500. There's only, 120?
124, I think, right now. I'd have to look. There's approximately 124.
That's not a lot of referees.
It's a very select group. It's a very difficult thing to get into. And
there's got to be times where you look back and you go,
how'd I make it?
I get in.
I don't know how I ever got in.
Well, we just connected all the dots.
Yeah,
all
but
the
it's just a
people that
lot of
you
work.
knew.
But every time, this is the thing I always tell people. Every journey, every step was fun. I had fun.
As a referee, you get your check from who? The NFL?
The NFL, you're an employee of the National
How cool is that to get when you
Yeah.
got your first check
And it
and
was
it
cool.
said NFL?
And it was cool. It was cool to even be called when I got hired in March of 2004 when they called me and said, hey, are you sitting down? I said, yeah. And they said, we're going to hire you as an official. I said,
my
"Well,
God.
What did you do? Was it like
I kind of couldn't believe it. I said, wow, it finally happened. I never thought it was going to happen.
How long did you wait?
From the application process, I started applying in 2000. So I waited 4 years. But, keep in mind, I went to NFL Europe. Remember NFL Europe?
Yeah.
And that was a great experience, too. So when you were an applicant, you went over to Europe. If you were on their short list, if you were on their top candidate list, you had the opportunity to go work. There was a 10-week season over in Europe. They had like 4 teams in Germany, Barcelona, Glasgow, Amsterdam. They kind of moved teams around a little bit, but predominantly most of them were in Germany, Hamburg.
Did you fly over there every week?
I flew over there twice. So I would go over on a week. You'd have a week. You have 2 one-week stays. So you leave on a Thursday, work a game on a Saturday, spend the whole week over there, travel around, have a great
That's
time.
nice.
Oh, it was a wonderful experience. Work a game the following weekend, then come home, and then do it again the second half of the season. And you run a crew, too.
And they're checking you out.
They're checking you out, and you also would have 2 NFL officials that were working, referees, Ed Hockley, Walt Anderson. Those guys would go over all the time, and they were like trainers. And you couldn't find better guys to have you train you in the nuances of the National Football League.
When you went from Pac-10 at that time to NFL, did you just go, oh my gosh, these guys they're in a different league?
Well, they are.
Yeah, they're in the NFL.
Well, but I mean, is there a huge jump, or is it?
There's. Keep in mind that there's a bigger discrepancy of talent level at the college level. When you get to the NFL, they are in the NFL. So yes, you see what I'm trying to say? You have a wider discrepancy of talent. I was just having this conversation coming over with this guy who works in the Big Ten Conference. When you go from your very first NFL even NFL training camp, the size, the speed, the quickness, the way they do things, they're professionals. They practice all day long. College kids go to class, have other activities. They only practice so many hours during the week. NFL players, that's their job. That's what they do. They are constantly looking at film. Coaches are constantly dissecting film. They're constantly trying to find things out, how to get better, how to get an advantage. It's a constant.
It's a business.
It's a business.
I saw a short documentary about Jerry Rice. And in the course of that conversation, he said in the first 10 years, he didn't take a vacation.
Sure. That's why Jerry Rice is the greatest receiver that ever lived.
Yeah. But
Seriously, we're going down this road?
We are.
We're talking with Rob Vernatchi, NFL referee, on making it as an NFL ref. Here's the thing I noticed mostly. Paying your dues. The years that it took him to get there.
Yeah, everybody wants to go from day one to I'm in the NFL. Now, you know my life journey. I'm one of those anomalies, but anyway.
In what way? In what way are you an anomaly? My goodness. 124 referees, that's not a lot of referees.
No, and everybody who is an armchair quarterback after they listen to this show will have, I think, a greater appreciation for what it takes, because they're not looking at things in slow motion, are they, Paul?
No, they're looking at, you look at a lot of the plays this year, and I don't know, I did anyway. After interviewing Rob, and I look at the plays, and I go, man, how did he get that?
They saw it. They didn't miss it.
They didn't miss it. Coming up, he's going to use the phrase, and listen for it, one play at a time. One play at a time. So listen for that. Coming up next on Making It as an NFL Ref.
You're listening to Making It with Mark and Paul Kinney. Sponsored by More Financial Strategies.
You know, Paul, very similar to what Rob does within the NFL, honing his skills, watching videos, getting better at his craft, honing his craft to where it's almost perfection. That's what we do at More Financial. We're always
watch videos?
Well, we do, yes.
Yeah.
No, we are constantly asking ourselves, how can we do things better? We do, in a way, look at what we've done in the past with different clients, and very much like watching a film, say, can we perfect, can we master our craft? And it takes practice. It doesn't happen overnight. I've been doing this 25 years. Each year I like to think I'm getting better at what I do to where we can ratchet things up, set the bar higher each and every year. So that's what we do at More, because our clients expect it and they deserve it.
Phone number 296-4464. 296-4464, or the website?
morefs.com.
Oh, thank you for that S.
Anything for you, Paul.
Welcome back to Making It, and Making It as an NFL referee. We're talking with Rob Vernatchi today on the show, and what it's like to be an NFL ref, which Mark has always wanted to be since we used to play on Grace Drive and throw the football. And
yeah, you.
With Michael Vonderpoort and Eric.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Mike Mugridge and Doug DeVries.
Doug DeVries,
yeah, and
yes.
Itch.
Right.
Itch. Yeah. That's right. Great memories.
The good old days.
Yeah, great memory. So let's jump back into it. Here's Rob Vernatchi and our show, Making It as an NFL Ref.
Hey, let me ask you this. I jotted this down. How can you, as a referee, not have favorites? In other words, when you go on to
it's easy. I'll be very honest about
Please,
it.
'cause
I lived here in Sacramento. I had season tickets to the 49ers for 17 years with my family. You know, we went through the Montana, Jerry Rice, Steve Young, Roger Craig, Ronnie Lott era.
So when you're called to go do a 49er game...
Well, I'm very impartial because I know at the end of the day...
That's the word. That's what
I'm very impartial. When I was on the field and I did a lot of 49er games, I liked the Raiders. My wife's a huge Raider fan. I mean, but you have to officiate the game. And if you go out and you want to play favorites, good luck. You're not going to be around very long because it's going to be very noticeable. You have to officiate the play, as we call it. You officiate the play. You don't officiate the team.
Very good.
You officiate the game and the play. You officiate one play at a time. You have specific responsibilities. You have to be consistent, and you have to know what you are doing.
But the hard part is, I think, having to do that in a nanosecond.
You have to do it in a nanosecond. That's your job, and that's where the longevity of one's career really, you see the effects or the strengths of one who goes through the steps of getting to that level. And I'll give you some examples.
Please, yes.
Toe taps on the sideline, the famous toe tap, and the guys make them unbelievable catches. There's an art to what they do. There's also an art to what we do. And you have to see it over and over and over and have a feel for how those catches are made and how they drag their feet. They're like ballerinas out there. And they're amazing what they can do with their feet.
But it's not happening in slow motion.
No, it's not.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying.
I'll tell you, when somebody makes a call and then you see the replay and you go, how did he get that?
Exactly. The other one's down by contact with the ball flying out. Those guys are amazing what they do. And we're right so many times. We are right so many times. Pass fumble with the referee. How many times you see whether the ball's out, ball's not out, when the bat arms going forward?
So how do you train for that?
Film, video, experience. Football is played once a week. It's not like baseball where it's played 5-6 times a week, or basketball 4 times a week in the NBA, or 3 times. We play once a week. We don't have a spring league right now for the young guys. We had a spring league when I was coming up. So it's all about getting snaps, repetition. And I was lucky too. I worked arena football. I haven't talked about that. I worked arena football for 4 years along with doing NFL Europe and the Pac-10. I had a lot of football when I came in under my belt. So that spring, that the NFL was involved with NFL Europe and the NFL was involved in arena football, I was lucky. Very lucky.
You got a lot of experience.
I got a lot of experience. So to go back to those plays and those calls, when these guys make these calls, now I'm looking at it on video all the time. I'm still amazed at some of the calls they make, a lot of the calls they make, and even some of our young guys coming in, how good they are. And it's because they work at it. They've repeatedly gone through the process. And
do you wind up getting slotted in to a position so you kind of learn? I'm the down back. I'm the
down judge or the back judge or the field judge, side judge.
Because you were side?
I worked all 3 downfield. I was a field judge, side judge, back judge. But I think when a kid or young man comes in, or a young woman comes in the NFL, they will come in from their college position, whatever it might have been. And we make changes occasionally. Obviously the one spot is they'll go become a white hat, a referee. And we have 4 new ones this year.
Is the referee
He's the guy who turns the mic on.
But is he the head guy?
He's the head guy.
Okay,
He's the crew chief, so to speak.
Okay.
And we have 4 new ones this year who are doing an outstanding job, and they all worked different positions last year. 2 of them were umpires back there with the referee. One was a back judge, and the other one was a side judge. Yeah, he was a side judge. So, but they had experience working referee at the NCAA level. All 4 of them. So they've been referees before. And being a referee is more than just on the field, turning the microphone on and making an announcement. It's about managing people.
And managing tempers.
Managing people. And they really are the ultimate controller, as I call it.
The buck stops here.
They really, that's the one the integrity of the game really lands in their lap.
Is there a profile that they look for in person?
Well, you mentioned female. I just jotted that down. How many female refs are there?
We have one. She's been in the league now 4 years. So
really?
Is there a profile?
Yeah.
No, I don't like to say that we have a profile. I think we look for good people.
What's your weekly schedule like if you're on the field?
If I'm on the field, I'll do both aspects. I was on the field for 13 years, and I came off the field last June. I took this job in the office in New York. So I retired from my state job. I came off the field, and I went to work full time for the NFL. And that started actually July 1st of 2017. So prior to that, being on the field, and even when I was in college, I would work. I was still working for the state. I'd go do my job, no matter where I was. And, we don't stay in the same area, same geographical region as an official. You can work 40 honors one week, and you can be in Miami the next week. You can be on the East Coast 5 times in a row because there's only 7 teams out here. When you think about it, there's Seattle, 2 in the Bay Area, 2 in L.A., Arizona, and Denver. Everything else goes east.
Well, Arizona, we really don't consider us to have a team. But go ahead. We'll give you that 7. Okay. Okay, go ahead.
So we have 7 teams. And so a normal week is for just an average week for a guy or gals in the NFL. They all have jobs. I can't think of too many that do not have jobs. Most of them have families. Most of them have other responsibilities. So they work their game. They'll come home Sunday night. If they can make it home, they got to get home Sunday night because they have to go to work on Monday. And they go to work on Monday, And when they go to work on Monday, they will do their regular job. And then in the meantime, they come home at night and they've already gone through their game. They'll get a hard drive after the game is over. They get their little hard drives and they go home. They got their laptops with them or whatever, and they flip it in the airplane. And they'll watch the game on the way home. So they pretty much know what they're looking for. They know the calls they made. And they go, they want to check it out, or the calls they might have missed, or what have you. They get evaluated on every play. Every play. Now, it doesn't always pertain to every official. Keep in mind, because there might be a play downfield, and an official on the other side of the field might not have anything to do with that. But every play of every game is evaluated. And
So whether or not there was a call or
it was a
there
correct
is a call.
Right. And that's how the evaluation process
And whether
goes.
it's a good call.
Good call, wrong call.
Or no call.
Or no call, correct call, incorrect
So
call.
somebody could come back and say, you really should have called it on this play.
That's what I do. That's what I'm
So
doing now.
that's his job.
That's my job
Go ahead
now.
into that now.
So as a guy, so during the week, and then he gets his evaluation on his preliminary evaluation on Tuesday, and his final evaluation on Wednesday, every week.
I don't think people know
So
that.
Well, some of us in the know. But go ahead.
Their final results of their season are based on these evaluations, and
These
along
16
with other things they go into it. And I don't really need to go into all that stuff. Okay, so it's not just walking out in the field. Here I am.
I got the
throw the
little
flag.
thing I can throw.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way.
When do you get in? You get in on a Saturday then?
They come in on a Saturday. They have a meeting on Saturday. They go 2 to 3 hours on Saturday.
really?
They'll go through training tapes that are put out on a regular basis. I put
and then
one out.
Sunday, when do they, how ahead?
3
far-
hours prior to the game, 3 hours, 2.5 hours prior to the game, they have to be at the stadium. They walk into the stadium, they have a whole list of responsibilities the minute they walk in. They just don't walk in,
Full buffet,
full
lunch,
buffet, and
oh.
start eating.
Really?
No.
There's
They-
the guy checking the equipment.
I can go on and on, but there's a whole series of things they have to
Balls
go through.
properly
Balls
inflated?
properly inflated, whole 9 yards, exactly. They have to do they have a whole series of things going on.
Wow.
And then they walk on the field 15 minutes prior to the game. Prior to that, they have to go meet the coaches. We have a security meeting. We have meeting with television. The referee and the back judge will go to the TV truck, or the side judge, excuse me. The side judge will go to the TV truck and get the proper time. I'll go with them. There's a whole series of things. It's a time organized, detailed.
It's a symphony.
It is.
Well, it's a
It
television-
flows. It's a television
it's a
show
television
that's properly put on with a group of people, and it's a huge group of people on game day that put this production on. It's amazing.
So when you look at something, I'm sorry, Paul, like at CBS and you have Jim Nantz doing the show, you go, God, this guy's really got his act together. Let's go behind the scenes and see why Jim Nantz looks so great.
Yeah, I mean, we'll walk in the truck. They'll be there once in a while. We'll see them on the sidelines. We see them all the time. They're everybody. My personal take on it, and what do I know?
Well,
But
a lot,
my
because you're
personal
on
take-
this show. Number one, you did the right thing by being on the show, but okay, number two.
But it's so many behind the scene people involved in the production of a game. It's amazing.
You have officials, you have cameras, you have TV trucks, you have
everything.
What a production!
TV trucks are amazing. The TV trucks are fascinating. The wiring alone, it's unbelievable.
Now, do they keep that in place, or do they pick that up after every week?
They go to their next spot. They're assigned games like we are.
Rob Vernatchi, NFL referee. How would you like it, Mark, if every single decision you made in the day was being judged?
Well, I do have somebody following me every step of the way. They're ready to throw a flag.
And judging you.
Now, I was thinking about this with Rob. You see, he worked for a state job. He flies in late Sunday night. He goes to job on Monday morning, and everybody's looking at him going, what in the world did you call that play for?
Well, everybody who's a ref, right?
Yes,
they
every
go
one of them.
into their regular job, and everybody's going to be,
The armchair
judging
quarterback.
you. But, I mean, if every single play professionally is being judged by a supervisor, we don't have that.
You have to have thick skin.
And we
I'll
have
tell
to
you.
learn the skill, practicing it, so to speak, once a week. It's not like you're doing it every single day. All right, we're going to come back with more of Making It as an NFL referee in just a second. Stay tuned.
We'll be back with more Making It right after this from More Financial Strategies.
Time now for our weekly segment, Making It Through Life. So, Mark, are there any similarities between being an NFL ref and working with
more financial strategies? Well,
yes.
I wear
Tie it in for me.
Yeah, I wear a striped shirt. I come to work every day. I've got the cleats
Pinstripe.
on. Yeah, and I got the hat. Got a whistle. I get everybody's attention. I'm blowing the whistle, throwing flags.
I bet they like that at the office.
They do, and you know what? I have that microphone, so when somebody gets out of line, I call it. I stop. I
You
make
get on
sure
the intercom?
Yeah, exactly. I make, and so very similar to football, though. We review, like they'll go in, they'll look at the monitors, they'll instant replay. We want to know how our clients have done. We will look back and say, how have we performed over the last 4 months, 8 months, 12 months? How have we done?
Do you sit down with the clients and
Absolutely. Every 6 months, every year, depending upon what they'll call us. We have some people calling us every couple months because they want to know, do we need to change things up? How are we doing? So we are very happy when they do that because we want to make sure we have them positioned correctly, as you would on a football field, so that when it's time to either kick that field goal, it's either time to say, let's run it in, we're in the red zone. It's
2-minute drill.
There we go.
2-minute drill.
There we go. We're getting close to retirement. And we will call a timeout if we have to and regroup and say, how are we doing? We have our go-to plays. We've got products. We've got things such as annuities and life insurance that we know. We open up our book. Our game plan is such. Now it's time to run this play because of the guarantees that we can offer our clients.
But don't you find that people have to, and I'm not throwing you a softball here, but don't you think people need to look at things early? I'll give you an example. I just got a statement this week for my son's life insurance policy. Now, he's 29 right now, but I think he was just an infant when we first got it. And boy, am I glad we got it, because
I'll tell you, Paul, that
it's got a whole lot of cash value.
You bring up a great point. The people who are our age have what do we have going against us? It's our age. A young person, 25 or 30, what do they have going for them?
A lot of time ahead.
Lots of time. So if you can get with a professional who can guide you and coach you
early in the game.
Exactly. Before the game, you're even on the field, so that you have an idea as to what is available. And it's so exciting to have those young people work with us, those who are open-minded and who know that us seasoned veterans have been through a lot.
Well, in my son's case, that was his college tuition. I mean, that's what it paid for. So
having
excellent planning on
exactly.
our part. If I might say so myself.
If I had my whistle, I'd be blowing it right now. But anyway, I don't. So
good.
But more financial, you can call us at 296-4464. Go to the web, morefs.com. I think I need to make that S a regular part of our show here.
I think it's become that.
Okay.
All right, let's jump back into the show with Rob Vernatchi, NFL referee, and learn about his career path and how he earned himself. Yes, he's a referee, but he earned himself a Super Bowl ring.
There you go.
Explain to us what you do now.
So I came off the field in 2017 playoff game I had, and that was the last game. So I went in the office last year. Now I'm a regional supervisor of officials. I take care of, so to speak, I, myself, and my partner, we have the downfield officials, which are the back judge, side judge, field judge. We have a referee supervisor, we have an umpire supervisor, and then we have a line of scrimmage supervisor. We evaluate 2 to 3 games a week. We go to a game a week. I'm going to Arizona this week. So we go 2 to 3 games. Well, I like that. So we have 2 to 3 games this week. I will evaluate. After we have what's called collaboration on Wednesday. We have a setup in my house. And on Wednesday, we will all wake up at the crack of dawn and we will spend 8 hours going through every call in a conference call. All 5 of us, all 6 of us, and sometimes all 7 of us. And we have a conference call for 8 hours, 7 to 8 hours.
Every single play.
Every Wednesday.
Wow.
That's
a long day.
It's a long process, but it's a fair process. It's the fairest process we can do for the officials. And so at the end of the day, so you, Paul, you're the referee, and you have 3 calls, and they're all correct. You had a good day. You might have 3 correct calls, and we might find one more on you. You missed a hold. So you get 3 correct calls and a no call. At the end of the season, those things all tabulate. You might have 2 incorrect calls and 1 correct call. You might have thrown 2 holding fouls we don't like.
So are they on pins and needles every week?
Every week. I was right there with them. I haven't forgotten what it's all about. And what it's like is talk
about getting graded.
And then keep in mind, this is what the people, I know that it's a business and I get it. It's the entertainment business. We get it. Fans are fans, but then they got their other jobs. So where do you draw? They have to keep, some are lawyers. We've had police officers, school teachers, businessmen, government workers.
So when you went back to work on a
Where's
Monday,
your focus? Your focus.
you go back to work and they go, Bob, are you serious? You missed that call.
I had that. Yeah, I had that. And you get that. And then you know what? You come home and living in California, again, a choice. I made a choice to live in California. But still, you come home, it's, it's 12 here. It's really, you're on the East Coast. You had a game in New York. You're really on 3 o'clock. You're on East Coast time. You do it again next week. You might have a game in Philadelphia the next week. Yeah. So we're going back and forth, coming back to work, juggling the whole thing. So these guys to me are remarkable. So they are remarkable. So when people talk about officiating in the NFL,
they don't.
No, not at all. But when they talk about officiating in the NFL, there's a lot that goes into this. There's a huge amount of preparation. There's a huge amount of dedication, and they do it because they love it. And I always hear this one say, well, they could have stayed in the Pac-12 or whatever, but no, it's in the NFL
So how does the NFL treat you? Let me answer.
Great.
Did they fly you first class?
The officials fly first class, yeah.
And you stay in nice hotels.
Stay in very nice hotels. They're treated good. Yeah,
so some nice perks.
It's very nice.
Well,
the NFL has been, me personally, the NFL has been great.
The responsibility also entails being physically fit.
That's the other part of it. You have to find time to keep yourself in shape. You have to find, you got to run. You have to run. You have to keep your legs in shape. You have to go to the gym. You have to maintain your physical endurance.
Do they test you?
Yeah, they go through a whole process during the preseason. Keep in mind, we don't all live in humidity or cold weather. So when I was working, I go down to Tampa or Miami in September,
and you're not used
to that humidity.
Let's go to the extreme, the ice bowl.
Let's go to Green Bay in the end of December. Let's go work a game in Lake Michigan in Chicago in the end of December.
What's the
Cleveland.
coldest game you've ever officiated?
I can't remember. It was 0 or below 0. I was in Cleveland one day. It was just the end of the season.
You try to forget that game.
Yeah, it was. I can't remember it.
It was brutal.
It was brutal. Yeah, I mean, I had harder times working in the humidity. 115 heat index in the field in Miami one day.
Really?
San Diego, we had a brutal day one day down there.
So let's go to something really glamorous. Super Bowl. Have you ever officiated a Super Bowl game?
I did a Super Bowl 44 in Miami. I had New Orleans and Indianapolis.
Was that a rush?
Yeah, it was an incredible experience. That was
the
incredible.
pomp and circumstance, the fanfare, the whole.
Yeah, the kickoff, all the flashes going off.
Do they give you a ring? You have an NFL
I do
ring?
a ring. I got.
You do?
I do. It's at home.
A Super Bowl ring?
I have a Super Bowl ring.
Oh, really?
that's
They
cool.
give you a ring?
Mm-hmm. It's not as big as theirs, but it's very nice. Yeah, I have a Super Bowl ring, and
So if somebody doesn't know you can go, yeah, by the way, that's my Super Bowl ring. Really? What position did you play? I got to run. See ya.
Yeah. My day's over.
How fun is that? Lots of memories.
Oh, it was a great experience. Great experience. The whole week.
The
whole 9 yards.
Is it easy to get rough on yourself? I mean, to kick yourself and think, oh man, I missed that, or I should have. Yes. Because, I mean, if everybody else is grading you got to grade yourself.
It's the hardest thing they go through, I think. It's the hardest thing I went through was your self-evaluation, yourself.
So is there an attrition rate? Some people say, I just can't handle the pressure.
No, we don't see too many leave on their own. Retirement's one thing. Guys love it. Think about it. It's a part-time job. They're doing well. They're in the National Football League. They're amongst people that they want, camaraderie.
Are there referee groupies?
Like female groupies?
No, just no. I mean, guys who are just, people who are really they're 23 and they're just really into umpiring or refereeing, and
it's kind of like your son was. And remember,
well, soccer. He was in baseball.
Baseball. That's right. I remember that.
Yeah.
No, I don't really think so. I mean, there's guys that gravitate towards it, and once they get into it, they meet NFL guys and things. They go to clinics and conferences and stuff like that, but I don't think.
Hey, I got to ask you this, Paul and I were talking. So if you showed me your cell phone right now, and not that you would, but do you have like Roger Goodell on speed dial?
No.
You don't? Really? Ed Hockley?
No.
Really? Okay.
No, sorry.
But
you really think he's going to say yes? Come on.
I mean, do you have a business card that says like NFL referee?
I do. I have a regional supervisor card. Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
That's cool.
We're in the presence of greatness here.
Well, I don't think I'm great, but
what's your when you look back on it? What's your best memory?
My best memory? My best memory, it sounds really kind of silly. It's just honestly, without being It's the experience of just the gratitude of going through each level of officiating. I mean, I have great memories of working junior college football and driving up to Northern California, Shasta College, or working Division II football and going to Humboldt with my friends. It sounds silly.
No,
but that's I keep all in perspective. It's a whole.
It's the journey. It's not 30, where you're ending up.
Yeah, it's working spring practice down to Cal and taking a ride with my best friend down there and him telling me all his stories and the Super Bowl or a championship game or a playoff game. That's great stuff, but it's not about the games. It's about the people you're with. It's about the friends you make. And I'm realizing this now because I'm on the back end of the whole deal. And, my days are numbered as far as how much longer I'll be doing this. But everything, like I said earlier in the interview, everything that I've done involving football, two things. It kept me involved in sports. That's the only thing. My interest has always been sports. I went to work for the state, but I think work got in the way of what my real interest was. I love sports. I always have. Loved all three of them. And played all three, all through high school, and then went to college to play baseball, and I would have played football, but it was too slow. But they kept me involved in sports, and it's allowed me to have a great segment or great wide variety of friends.
That's NFL referee Rob Vernatchi on this week's episode of Making It. I don't know about you, but when I listened to this week's show, when I was doing the editing on this, made me think of all those high school games we would go to, and people listening. I mean, it makes you think about high school, and for me anyway, and those men who were out there refereeing the games, who were they? They were guys just like Rob who were starting off in their career, or maybe they just loved to do it.
Yeah, they probably didn't do it for the pay. They did it because they enjoyed the sports. They enjoyed young people, seeing young people excel and growing and fostering those relationships. And that's what we do at More Financial. It is really a relationship business. We're going to look back and not remember all the different products that we sold. We're going to look back and what comes to mind, faces of people, individuals who we helped perhaps go from point A to point B, or perhaps they lost a loved one along the way, and attending the funerals or paying the death claims. So it's a relationship business. At the end of the day, that's what we do. Howard Schultz, Starbucks fame. I love Starbucks. He said,
"Hey, wait, stop for just a second. Give everybody your recipe when you go in."
Oh yeah, it's a triple. It's a grande double cup quad espresso, long shots, half calf, steamed heavy cream, extra hot, 4 Splendas. Anyway, and so when you think about Howard Schultz, he says, you know what? We are in the people business. We just happen to serve coffee. The same with us at Moore. We're in the people business. We just happen to be in the financial services arena. And at the end of the day, that's what it is. We are in the advice business, and we're blessed because we can work with people and help them in areas that maybe they can't do it themselves.
Yeah.
So give us a call, 296-4464.
296-4464,
morefs.com.
Yeah, there we go. Let's get back to making it as an NFL ref. This is our final segment of the show today.
Are there one or two players who come to mind that you just go, they are like world-class, first-rate, just unbelievable human beings?
Yeah.
Do a couple come to mind?
Yeah, all of them.
It's got to be a safe answer.
That's not a safe answer. That's the truth. They all...
In some way, shape, or form.
Look, I've had experiences that I'll never forget, and we can go through all the names, but what you see or what you read and what I've seen and what I've dealt with on the field are two different things.
Wow. Interesting.
Two different things. And I'm not going to name names, but I can't tell you how many times when I walked over to one of those players and shook hands with them or talked to them on the field, it's like everything else in our society. It's how you treat people. I'm a firm believer in that. Look them in the eye, be a gentleman, talk to them as a person. I guarantee you'll get respect.
You're seeing those guys every week.
I'm seeing them at the highest. Yeah, and I wear glasses. I wear glasses on the field. So I think that they still. In fact, I was in Tennessee the other day, and one of the TV personalities who was he's a Hall of Famer. I haven't seen him in I haven't seen him in quite a while. And he was a coach at one time, and he recognized me right away. And I know it's because of the glasses, but it's how you treat him. It's how you talk to him.
So after a game ends, Are you shaking hands with people as well?
No, I'm shaking hands with my officials in the locker room. I'm the first one in. We don't walk around shaking hands with players. We don't.
You're off the field.
We are gone. We're out of there.
Do you ever worry about security?
Nope. Security's great.
Huh?
We have great security. We have.
I mean, they take care of you.
Law enforcement, FBI, you name it. We've had them all around.
Well, when we were talking with Bob Bond, the bodyguard.
Yeah, we're not the least bit worried about our security.
It was interesting how he was saying when they move an NFL team.
Oh, it's not.
It is big.
You got to see how they move those buses around.
Yeah.
We're very very well insulated. Yeah, we're not. I've never felt any, and we have a great security department with the NFL. If I ever needed anything, they're there in a minute. Yeah.
It's really interesting what we don't know, and now what we do know, and appreciate.
Oh, my pleasure.
How you do what you do.
What's your advice to the little guy now who wants to be an NFL ref?
Believe in yourself and go for it. People told me I was never going to get in. People laughed at me when I was never one. And I'll say this very honestly: I was never one that I'm going to be an NFL official, or I'm going to be in the Pac-10, or I've been around guys that have done that. I just kind of did the best I could. Chips fell where they did. Doors opened up thanks to multiple people that were involved in my life. But at the end of the day, I just I enjoyed every moment I was at, and I was lucky. It opened up. And I've gone the full spectrum when you think about it. I've gone from high school football officiating on Friday nights, scared out of my pants, chased myself to having them chase me in the parking lot.
Oh,
to now working out of New York. At the head, 345 Park Avenue, and evaluating officials, and had the great fortune of working a Super Bowl and a couple championship games, and living, doing all those things, but going from one extreme to the other. And at the end of the day, I can honestly say it's been very fulfilling. I have no regrets. I wouldn't change a thing the way I did things in officiating. I enjoyed, when I left the WAC, I thought, oh man, I went to the Mountain West, and I liked the Mountain West, and I went to the Pac-10, and once I got in the Pac-10, I really enjoyed the Pac-10, and I thought, oh man, I'm going to miss this, and I did miss it. I miss college football, the atmosphere and all that. There's nothing like Saturday afternoon doing a USC or UCLA game. I did my last year, I had USC at Notre Dame, and that's still one of my highlights. And so, whole atmosphere, that whole house, my mom and dad went, and my wife.
School spirit, there's nothing like it.
There's nothing like college football.
And you have an understanding family as well.
Well, it's a very athletic sports geared. My dad's passed away, but my mom to this day, she's always, she's 88, but that's all she talks about is sports. She's asking me the other day about Jimmy Garoppolo. So she's, it's the whole family. My wife's been very supportive too, and so she's always going with me, and she's never.
So she travels with you when you.
When I was on the field, she traveled quite a bit. She's going to games all the time. Yeah, so we were, it was a good deal.
I have to ask you this because I jotted it down. Instant replay. What are your thoughts on it?
I think it's got a good purpose for her, to get to play right.
And it's been around for how long?
It came in the 90s, and they dropped it for a couple of years. It came in, and then they dropped it, and then it came back, and I don't remember what year, 99, I think it was. I'm not sure, and it's been here since. No, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I like it.
It's
You want the play call
You want the play right, and it's there's a purpose for it, and it's like anything else. Can we get better at it? Yeah, we can get better in everything, but it's got a good purpose and it's applied properly.
Wow.
Yeah, I think the fan wants when you're watching a game, you want the play right. We want the play right. Coaches want the play right. There's too much writing on these games. We don't talk about the coaches and the general managers all the time, but those guys, that's their job. And our job is to get the play right and give them 100% every time we walk on the field. And that's either in the booth or on the field. We're all in this together. We might not think we are sometimes, but we are all in this together to get the game right. Very important for the integrity of the game that we are all on the same page to get it right. We do our best. We try our best every time, whether it's officiating, playing, coaching. I see those guys over the years, and they've had a tough year, and you feel for them. You feel for them, and I feel for our officials. This is what I deal with now, talking with guys and helping them, and it's not just the evaluation process. It's back to what we were talking about as far as how they react to when they get grades and things of that nature, and how they beat themselves up. And you're almost like a psychologist sometimes. And the process has already started. We're into week 3. And so naturally, we've had situations. It's going to happen every year where guys have tough times. You got to keep them up. Our job is to put those guys on the field. And this is my job now, to make sure that when they're on the field, that they're their best mentally and physically. I can't help them physically, but their frame of mind is in the right place. And you want to keep them uplifted. It's really important. I really believe in this too. And since I've gotten into a so-called management position, that it's so important to keep people in a positive frame of mind, because ultimately you want the utmost in their production and performance level, and you're not going to get it when they're not thinking positively.
So with that being said, Rob, let's say one of your officials loses a spouse or loses a child.
Sure.
Are you saying you're sitting out this week, or
we give them the opportunity if they want to? Sure. We've
life happens.
We've all, including myself, we've all gone through difficult times, and it's everybody handles things differently, and we're all very respectful of when one's needs need to be met. So, of course, that comes first. Family.
So, if somebody was to call you and say, "I just lost, I cannot," you're like, "We got you covered."
We got you covered.
Are there guys who are subs?
No, we don't have any subs. But there's a weekend. There's guys that have weekends off.
Oh,
yeah, they do 15 games in a 17-week season, so we always have people off. So if somebody had an emergency, illness, death, family problems, whatever, they can't make the game or something's going on, we'll work with them.
Because I know a lot of people live for the NFL. This is their team, they're this, they're that.
I get it, and
not me. I live for the refs. That's right. I just watch the refs.
Yeah, now I'm going to really start looking at the refs a lot more now that we talked to Rob here.
No, I get it, and I respect fans. Hey, they deserve everything. They deserve our utmost 100% effort, no doubt about it. And, they're fans. I'm a fan too. Still a fan, always will be a fan of the game, fan of the league. It's a great thing. I mean, we can poke holes in everything.
Nothing's perfect.
Nothing's perfect, but I'll guarantee you when Sunday rolls around, people love football. They do love football.
Thanks for being with us. This has been fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, I appreciate it.
Thanks behind the scenes.
Oh, my pleasure.
In the NFL.
Gives you a whole new perspective on watching a football game on Sunday or Monday or Thursday now, or
it's behind the scenes. You don't see what you don't see, and all that it takes to pull off. And it really is. It's entertainment. We get that, but it's a business, and we know people are very devoted to their teams, and they want their teams to win, as I like to have my team win.
It's interesting. He has no regrets. How many people can say that about their career? And looking back on it, and boy, what an intricate web of people and opportunities and games.
And he wouldn't change any of it.
No, wouldn't change a thing.
Because of the memories, the relationship. So I think, again, a different insight behind the scenes. Pull the curtain. We see exactly what's going on. And they're hard on their people because it's a business and they want to maintain.
Well, aren't we all hard on ourselves?
We are.
Yeah.
We are. Yeah, so we appreciate Rob spending some time with us, and the fact that he's got a Super Bowl ring. I think that's kind of, how many people can say that? I got a Super Bowl ring.
Yeah.
And so
pretty neat. Well, let's say next week. You don't want to miss next week's show.
Can we get any better? Can we beat this?
Yes, we can next week.
Oh, we did.
Next week. Don't tell Rob that. But next week, next week, we call this "Making It Out of the Cobra." This is a story of Chuck Smith, who has the claim to fame of being the first helicopter pilot in Vietnam, a Cobra helicopter pilot, to be shot down by enemy ground fire. And it's not just the whole episode of being shot down that makes it interesting. It's his life journey and what he's doing now. Well, I won't even give you what his age is, but I will.
Remarkable human being.
Yeah, truly. It's a great story. You don't want to miss it. In fact, we'll give you this little tease.
Are we going to do that? Okay, we will.
You don't want to?
Yeah, no, let's do it.
Okay. Next week's episode of Making It Out of the Cobra with Chuck Smith.
So it hit the ground.
And how fast were you going?
Oh, I don't know, but I was faster than I'm supposed to. I'm supposed to flare it.
Right.
And almost come to a stop and then let it settle down.
Sure.
Well, this one, in fact, I got really cocky at it. I went, well, this was a perfect fixed wing landing. And I was just sliding along the rice paddy because it had been cut, and the rice paddies are pretty flat until you get to the dike.
And you see that ahead of you.
And I'm sliding along, and then the skids hit the dike. And when the skids hit the dike, it tipped the helicopter up on its nose, which then made the rotor system strike the ground. When the rotor system struck the ground, it spun me around about 3 times and tumbled. And I thought, I'm not going to get knocked out. I was telling myself, as I'm spinning, I got to stay awake so I can get out of this thing in case it's on fire and burning and stuff like that. And it finally came to its side and fell over on the left side of the aircraft. My door opens on the right side. The co-pilot's door opens on the left side. And our machine gun that we carry is on the left side of the ammo compartment, and I couldn't get that door open. And I had my John Wayne holster on, but you couldn't sit in it in the seat. So I had taken it off and thrown it behind the seat, thinking if I ever get shot, I'll just grab it and go. Well, that's not what happens. So I throw the window open, and there's a little step on the side of the airplane, and then the skid, and then the ground. When my foot hit the step, 2 rounds hit the side of the airplane. Pow, pow.
Somebody's shooting at you.
Oh, yeah. So I fell on the ground and started sucking up as much of the ground as I could to get as low as I could.
And there's water and everything?
No, it was dry. That was the only thing. It was dry. If it had been wet, I'd have stopped sooner and had the accident a little sooner.
And the other guy's
still in the airplane. So I'm looking around, and you can hear the rounds snap over the top of it as they're breaking the sound barrier and so, or as they're hitting the ground, you hit puffs of. Oh, it was amazing. Puffs of sand and dirt coming up, and then hitting the side of the airplane with a thud. So I decided, okay, I got to get away from here. They're shooting at the airplane and me. So I take off at a low crawl.
And no weapon.
No, you get out of my story. So I get over to the other.
And you've left your pilot?
Everybody. Everything's in the airplane. I'm away from the airplane, and I'm feeling pretty good about how safe I am now. So I'm laying next to this dike, and you know how there's something in the back of your head going, God, you forget, there's something you got to do. And rounds are still going over, and they're still hitting the aircraft. And under the Cobra, there's 2 rings of smoke grenades. And what you do is you have a selector in the cockpit, and you push a button, and the smoke grenade will drop out, and you can mark targets and so forth as you do. Well, when I hit the ground, every one of those smoke grenades pop loose. And they're live when they're in there, because the handle, as it drops out, pops off. And then they live smoke, and you get a little streamer as it goes down to the ground. Well, they were smoke, green, blue, red. So they must have thought that we were on fire. I think what they thought, too, is that we were a Huey. In a Huey, you got 4 people with 2 big machine guns and whatever sidearms and everything that the other crew members have. So they weren't rushing us like I thought they would do. And the reason I say they, because I looked up over the berm that I was laying next to, and I could see way out, maybe from here to the airfield out there, 5 little bodies would run up, and they'd fall back down. They'd run up, they'd fall back down.
So this was a great day for them because they shot down a Cobra.
They didn't know what it was at the time. So I look back, and I go, geez, I got to go get Mike. So it's that decision point that you make. They're shooting at you. Will you make it to get him? Is he alive? His head was down in the cockpit like that.
And his door won't open.
And his door isn't open. And when it's when the aircraft is leaning on its side, it's about waist high to me, the door. So that's where he was. So I jump up and I run to the airplane. Now, really at this point, I'm not remembering any of this. This is what the guy circling me tells me at the bar.
So let's not forget about that. The other guy saw you go down.
He saw me go down, so he starts his cover circle around me, but he's making a right-hand turn looking straight down at us. And I'm pointing out across he says, I thought you were waving at us. Yeah, I saw you, but I'm pointing at the guys charging us. He said, I never saw him. He said, I didn't see him until the other helicopter came in to pick us up because he'd started calling for a pickup. I didn't even get a Mayday call sign off because my partner was talking to me and I was trying to figure out how to slow this thing down.
He was screaming.
Yeah. I was trying to slow this thing down before it hit the ground.
So next week's episode is Making It Out of the Cobra with Chuck Smith. You don't want to miss it. In the meantime, if you want to get a hold of Mark, give him a call, 296-4464, 296-4464 at More Financial Strategies or morefs.com. I'll say it. I don't want you to take it all. Yeah. So give Mark a call if he can be of any help to you. And we hope you'll join us next week here on Making It.
You've been listening to Making It with Mark and Paul Kinney, brought to you by More Financial Strategies. The information covered today is designed to provide general information on the subjects covered. It is not, however, intended to provide specific legal or tax advice. It can't be used to avoid tax penalties or to promote, market, or recommend any tax plan or arrangement. You're encouraged to consult your tax attorney or advisor. By contacting us, you may be provided information regarding the purchases of insurance products, including annuities. Guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurer. Riders may be available for additional cost. Product and features may vary from state to state. For full details on how life insurance works, including fees, expenses, and costs, contact our office at 296-4464. Mark Kinney is a financial professional licensed in the state of Arizona.